Hello, welcome back to Truthseekerstea. I am thankful as always to have you here for today's pick a card reading. Today we're going to be looking into getting you some advice on your current situation. So I'm going to leave it pretty open to spirit to help me tap into what your current situation is and then what your spirit guides / my spirit guides have to tell you. Hopefully can give you a little bit more clarity on what you're going through and what best action or how you can best, what energy to align with to move forward the most smoothly. So there will be an extended reading. We'll be asking spirit what is most useful to further go into, especially if something comes up during the reading that would be a whole separate reading. I like to save that for the extended. So keep your eye out for that if it does resonate with you. But for now, let's go into the pile selection. So for pile number 1, we have the Pastel Journey Tarot with the Angelite Crystal. Pile number 2, we have the Antique Anatomy Tarot with the Black Obsidian Crystal. Pile number 3, we have the Ethereal Visions Illuminated Tarot. I always laugh at how long the name of this deck is for some reason, but anyways, that's the third pile, and we have the Green Fluorite Crystal. So go ahead and take whatever time you need to tune into these piles and figure out which one you're feeling drawn to. You may be drawn to more than one pile, as they could go over different topics that may be relevant to you right now. So go ahead and do that. I will have the timestamps linked down below along with the extended readings. So yeah, I'm excited to get to these readings. And without further ado, let's get into your piles. Hello, pile number 1. If you chose the Pastel Journey Tarot and the Angelite Crystal, this is going to be your reading where we're going to be looking into getting you some advice for your current situation, what you're going through, whatever phase you're going through, whatever you're thinking about as your situation. We're going to help get you some clarity on it. So I'm going to move this to the corner for now. And we're going to start off with some oracle cards, and then we'll go into tarot. So I pre-pulled a few oracle cards. We're going to pull more as we go along, but I just wanted to get a foundation for what your current energy is like, what you're dealing with, and what you're going through. So we have Pluto, the Riddle, Yellowing, and Iron. Situate these. Okay, perfect. So let me just tune into your energy. So for pile number 1, what is currently going on? Okay. So with the Riddle representing the energy that you're currently in and context from Pluto as well, there's a feeling here that you may be feeling like in your life right now, there's maybe a certain situation, a relationship, a transition, some sort of change in your life that you feel is coming. There's a sense of a looming transition or some sort of shift is what I'm getting. And there's a feeling that you're experiencing a lot of confusion about not knowing exactly what is happening or what's going to happen. There's this feeling of anticipation and this feeling of being confused because Pluto rules over death and rebirth. And so there's a feeling that there is some sort of death happening in your life, and there's a sense that you don't know what's coming next. And so there's a sense of, I'm hearing doom. It doesn't have to be as intense as doom, but there's a feeling of knowing that there's some inevitable change coming with this current situation and feeling very confused. You may be in a period of overthinking a lot. Like with the Riddle talks about how it's not a situation where you can keep analyzing it mentally and come to a conclusion, nor can you even tap into your intuition. It's like there's a blank almost. So this situation, it's one that's really pushing you outside of your comfort zone, and there's a feeling of like the clarity you want is just out of reach, and it feels like there is an energy of surrender happening. We do have the Castle at the back of the deck and also Tin at the back of the deck here. And so both of these cards actually refer to a feeling of maybe a certain situation that you've been in has been at a surface level, or there's a feeling that there's something that on the surface is appealing and comfortable and attractive, but there's almost a pull right now to go deeper within yourself and to ask yourself what relationships, what situations actually support you, and um yeah, what is actually nurturing for you, what is actually of service to you, what really aligns with who you're becoming and who you are. And so there's a feeling here that you may just be at the precipice of accepting a transition or accepting a new self, accepting something changing, but there's confusion about it because you may still be in the castle, or you may still be in this tin energy. And this tin energy talks about how it's good for like the short term, it can expand, but at some point, if there's too much pressure on it, it breaks. And so it almost, there's a feeling here of whatever situation you're in, there's a feeling of it not being in its most authentic, truthful, and reliable form. So, a way I could put that into an example would be, imagine that you're working a job that you like the perks of it and you like the pay that it gives you, but there's this feeling that you're not really satisfied in it, and your soul is calling you to go deeper and maybe make a shift and move towards something that in the end would be more satisfying for you. But it's like in this stage where it's like you can't figure out why the castle isn't feeling as comfortable anymore. Like, why am I not as happy as I used to be with the way I was operating? And so it's almost like you're being called to shift. And yellowing also talks about um, the kind of beckoning towards death. So not to scare you, like not a literal death, but like the it's a calling to begin releasing so something new can form. And Pluto also is about death and rebirth. And so, and with this Iron card, that's where I'm getting this energy of like it's happening for you to strengthen something. So we'll get more details with tarot now to see what specifically it is. Yeah, we have the moon here. It's like you're being called out of your comfort zone and you're being called to go deeper within yourself right now. And it's almost one of those things that you can't prepare for. It's like you can't necessarily prepare. Look at that. 3 of Swords, 6 of Swords. Yeah, it's like there's a transition coming where it's like the best thing you can do is just move through it. And the Riddle card also talks about how the only way to kind of you will understand later on. It's almost like you need more information or you need more experience and things will become clearer in the situation. But it's almost this feeling that um, it may feel stressful. It may feel like you have to give up control for the situation. But there's a feeling that it's for your highest good, and it's so you can be reborn into something that's more aligned with yourself. But yeah, it just feels like, let's say we're on a timeline and here's the moment of death and here's rebirth. It's like you're approaching the death moment and you don't see the rebirth. Like you don't know what's coming here. And so it's stressful. It's like, I don't want to let go of this castle. I don't want to let go of this tin material that's worked so well for me. But Spirit's saying it's time to like go deeper into yourself and bring out something from that. Does that make sense? So it's almost like the current structure, the current situation isn't deep enough. It isn't I'm trying to think of a word for it. Like it doesn't, it's okay. An example I'm getting from Spirit, which is funny. It's like, imagine that in Harry Potter, like you were using a wand that Ollivander didn't give to you. It's like, imagine that you just found a wand and like, imagine that it was a difficult journey to get to Ollivander's, which we know it isn't. It's just, it's for sale. But imagine that you've been using a wand that works and maybe it's easier to use that wand. So maybe this isn't the best example, but it's kind of like that. It's like you're upgrading to your true wand that would really serve you and would really resonate with you, and you'd be most powerful with that wand. So there's a feeling of something needing to go so you can unite with your wand that's most authentic to you. So let's see what else for pile number 1. Can you give us more details on what their situation is and whatever other guidance you have? We have 7 of Swords, the 5 of Pentacles, and the Hierophant. Okay. what I'm getting right now is there's some sort of situation. It could be a relationship. So apply this to your situation, okay? Because it can relate to anything. There's a feeling that the current situation involves sort of a smoke and mirror energy. With the Seven of Swords here, there's a feeling that something isn't really actually being honest with you, or isn't actually there's smoke and mirrors. Like with the castle here, it's like there's a feeling that things look pretty and look good, and it's like a part of your ego almost wants to believe that the current situation should stay, but there's spirits wanting to pull the cloth and show you what the situation actually is. And so yeah, there's a feeling with the Seven of Swords here that either on one level you're not really being honest with yourself potentially about a situation, or maybe you're just afraid of abandonment. There's a feeling here that you may not be seeing a situation clearly, or you may be holding on to something that's really meant to go from your life. So either it's that this can talk about self-denial or like self-deception, where we're kind of lying to ourselves about a situation, and it's like we don't want to progress forward because we're afraid of the lost energy, or we're like afraid of abandonment, and being afraid of being left out, or like not having enough. Like there's this fear that if you leave the castle, that you will be worse off, and you will feel more weak or something. And so with the Hierophant being here, I'm getting two messages. Or another thing I'm getting, and I'm kind of getting both of them, is that there's a feeling that there's a lack of stability, and I'm just getting the image that something about the situation you're in looks like it could hold 1,000 pounds, and it could be stable for you forever, and it could be your foundation, but that's not the truth of it. And so there's something hidden about it that is actually not going to be able to support you, or is not going to be right for you. And it's like this iron versus this tin. It's like it's not really the real deal, you know? And Spirit is saying, like, there's almost this energy of like with the Hierophant here, you're being called to connect with trust in spirit, trust in the universe, and trust in transformation, being in touch with your highest self to get you through a phase where there's a feeling of your ego and your higher self having like a debacle, where your ego's like, no, everything's fine here. Like, and then your higher self's like, no, I'm kind of getting a feeling that a transition's coming. I'm kind of getting a feeling I'm being pushed another direction. Like deep down, I know I don't feel 100% supported in this situation, or I don't feel 100% authentic in a way. And then it's like your ego self is going, well, can you give me any logical reason why you're saying that? Like, and then the riddle comes in, where it's like you're trying to figure it out. It's like you're trying to find reasons for one or the other, like almost pros and cons is kind of what I'm getting. And there's a feeling that I'm going to actually clarify, just because I want to see exactly what the Hierophant is, but let me clarify too before I say more. Yeah, Nine of Swords. A lot of thinking, a lot of trying to figure out something. There's like a gaslighting feeling here to the situation. Like there's a feeling that your intuition's telling you something about the situation that doesn't feel right to you, but maybe you can't really have any evidence for it. And so it might be driving you crazy in that way too. And it's like that's kind of your own evidence. Like things, like it's like almost like, are you going to listen to your intuition in this situation or not? What else, Spirit, is this situation? What does Pablo need to hear? Yeah, we have strength. Yeah, and it's like it would require you to overcome your fear of abandonment and your fear of loss, or your fear of letting go. It's almost like, you know how death requires us to release, like literally like let go in order, and then having faith that there will be renewal, right? And so there's almost this feeling of like your higher self calling you to pull on your inner strength to overcome your internal fears about the situation, about letting it go. And it's like your ego's trying to find reasons to stay, or to not see that the pages are yellowing, to not see that the time is turning, to not see that you need a more stable foundation, that it's time for death. A part of you, there's a real fear you'd have to overcome within your ego to move in the right direction in this situation. All right, for the Hierophant, could you please clarify? We have the Emperor. Okay. And then the Queen of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. Okay, yes. So this could be a situation to do with like your job, or it could be there's a feeling of this situation having to do with how stable you feel. So with the Queen of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck, there's almost a feeling of, it could be a relationship that you feel like brings you a lot of stability. It could be a job that you've been doing. So it's like, it's what you've always done. And so there's just this feeling of like being afraid to let it go and risk. It's almost like, will you go into an abundance mindset about this, or will you stay in a scarcity mindset? And like the scarcity mindset would tell you to not risk anything, because, you know, to kind of settle for the situation, even though you kind of have some inkling that there's some sense of lack of truth, or either like, you know, in your heart it's not right for you, or you get feelings that there's like maybe people aren't being honest with you, or the situation isn't as good as it seems. And your intuition and your higher self is trying to guide you. And so it's kind of like a back and forth in that way. And so, but what this has to do with, I feel, is an opportunity for you to step further into your own independence and an abundance mindset, and into your own like stepping into your own power in regards to I'm trying to think of like the word for this. It's like for your survival. This feels almost like, it's almost like a situation that like you feel really supports you, or you may feel like, without this situation or this person, this thing, this job, what if I won't have my needs met? You know, what if I'm not able to meet my needs? What if I'm not able to attract abundance without this? And the Emperor is here. I almost feel like, to feel like it's like a question of, are you gonna give your authority to something else, or are you gonna stand up and take your empower yourself? You know what I mean? And so empower yourself to feel confident, like with the masculine energy, this divine masculine energy, feeling confident that you can protect yourself, that you can have direction, that you have the willpower to do within the physical world. Like, so within jobs, or like even relationship, it's like a feeling of like, could you make it on your own, you know? Or do you feel like you still need to be a part of some group or organization? So with the Hierophant here, it's like, who are you listening to? Who is your higher guidance here? It's like, I'm getting even like the question of like, who do you worship? Which is one of the Oracle cards that like comes out that way. It's like this feeling of, should I align with a group's mentality, even if a part of me doesn't feel like it's right? Or should I align with like some sort of authority? Like maybe your partner feels like an authority, or your parents, or it's just some sort of authority or organization where it's like, who are you listening to? Are you listening to yourself, or are you going to kind of stay with the status quo in this situation that doesn't necessarily feel right to you, or doesn't necessarily feel like it's the most, there's a feeling that it isn't really supporting you as well as potentially you feel you could support yourself, or another situation could support you, right? And so there's a feeling with the Queen of Pentacles of, it doesn't mean you have to be alone, or it's not saying that necessarily like this would be like you being a single independent woman or man. I'm not saying that. It's more like the Queen of Pentacles would be able to know her worth, and would be able to be honest with herself about a situation, and say like, because she feels supported, because she feels connected with earth, because she feels connected with abundance, she knows how to make decisions for practical decisions, like grounded decisions for herself, for her own survival, for, you know what I mean? She knows she can take care of her own needs. And so there's a feeling of that being maybe a barrier in this situation. But it feels like there's a transition that's inevitable anyways. And it also feels like Spirit wants me to tell you that this is one of those situations that I feel like really require trust in yourself, and trust, because a lot of times, like when we're going to make decisions that honestly transform our life and empower us, like you could ask any person like that has done something creative, or has left a job, like literally left anything that, or a relationship that just wasn't right. It's like they had to believe that they could create something else, right? Like there's this belief that there is something better. Like, I'm not going to settle, right? But what I want to tell you is that the universe will not give you a guarantee. And so it does require a leap of faith. And I feel like that's what this is about, is like you needing to get out of your mind, because I feel like you are overthinking a lot right now. And you may be even like thinking about worst case scenarios in this situation. And I feel like Spirit's wanting you to listen to your higher self and give authority to your higher self and trust in yourself. And so I feel like there's a journey of like trusting in your own Queen of Pentacles energy. Trusting that you have that within you, right? All right, let's get some more. Yeah, and this is, okay, I've been noticing that when I cut the deck, it brings up the cards I need, so I almost like feel like I want to use that instead. But this is very relevant. So we have Falling, the Unknown, Descent, Momentum, Change. I might read you guys some of this because this deck's really good with their messages. Here, I might zoom out a little bit so I can fit more. Great. Let me just move some of the stuff that just got in the way. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so this is exactly what I'm kind of getting at. And then it says, oh, wait, what? I think I just, oh no, I think I lost my page. It says this one, set your course, know where you wish to go, have a plan, the right direction. Oh my gosh, this is so relevant for what I'm getting at. I think I may get the book just because they have a really good explanation for it. If I can find it quickly. Yes, it's right here. I can give you my explanation really quick, but this is just essentially what I've been saying already. So for Falling, it's like and yellowing, there's this energy of having to release control and having to release knowing what's going to happen next. And then with Set Your Course, know where you wish to go, have a plan in the right direction. It's like with the Emperor knows what it's doing, right? There's a feeling of the Emperor having a plan. And so Spirit is calling you to step up into your energy that is more masculine and kind of have confidence within that. Know that instead of kind of listening to putting your authority with someone else or putting your authority with what the status quo is, whatever your situation is that's kind of making you question your own intuition or question what you're kind of wanting to do is what I'm getting. But maybe you're afraid of change or the fear of it is coming through. It's like Spirit's asking you to find the strength and the courage and the strength, and also like the the gumption is a word. That's a word that my boyfriend always says, and I think it's very funny. But the gumption, like the potential to do it. So let me read you some of the unknown falling. So it says, you are presently experiencing a time of descent. You are in between worlds, yet to land, yet to know what will come next, yet to feel the impact of the inevitable moment when your feet touch the earth again. This is exactly what I've been saying, is like, it's that moment on the timeline where you don't know what's next, but you're jumping into death. At present, it is natural to feel doubt, discouragement, nerves, or even fear. And that's that Nine of Swords. That's that Five of Pentacles. And maybe potentially wanting to lie to self. It says, you have leapt, now you must fall. Soon you shall land, but first comes the descent. You will get the gratification from the universe and Spirit that you've made the right decision. But this card is all about that moment of descent when you can't know, the unknown. Spirit, it's a part of the process is what I want to tell you. So it says, you've launched yourself into the unknown, taken a risk, dared to follow your instinct. And I feel like it's not necessarily, some of you maybe have done that and you're anxious right now, or you're being called to jump into the unknown, right? Take a risk, dare to follow your instinct without the thought and consideration that would have seen you miss the chance that will come to you. But right now, you are completely within the process of descent. You may have allowed yourself to let go of people, places, objects, roles, or ways of being. Yeah, so there's some sort of death that you're letting go of in this situation. It could be a relationship, a type of career, or the routine you once had is now in flux, like exactly what I've been kind of talking about. So it says, something has unraveled and you're moving into a different part of your destiny. A fall can be accompanied by disillusionment, and that's like the Seven of Swords. It's like having to realize things, a sense that something's being broken, a shattering of beliefs and perspectives, and the inability to know what will come next. You may wonder, just like Alice, whether you will fall right through the earth. In other words, will everything in your world end? Will you simply keep falling and falling with no end at all? And then it says, it will end, period, which I appreciate. It says, there will be a new place and a fresh way of being to explore. For now, surrender to the descent into a passageway to the next life. The fall is the moment before rebirth. The best possible response is to relax into the fall, observe and wonder what is to come. No, this is the only way through to the next stage of your evolution, the entrance to your own wonderland. Yeah, and like that's what I was kind of getting at too. Is like, I don't want to even say unfortunately, because there's something really beautiful about when we make these decisions to jump and leap into the unknown. Because even though it's scary, you have no idea, or you will, especially this group, I'm very much feeling that you will soon in the future understand, but without there being an element of risk and being a chance for you to have to trust yourself and trust your own intuition, the gratification you will get from that will strengthen your relationship with yourself and your ability to be in this emperor energy, in this strength energy. It's like this will level you up, you know, because we show, it's almost like a test, right? It's like you can study and be ready to take a test, but when you actually take a test and you pass it, it's like taking tests obviously aren't fun, but then when you pass it, it's like, yes, like I have this, I'm at a new level now, right? And then you can move forward. So it says, know that this is the only way through. It says, there is no new discovery without descent, without relinquishing some of who you were. This is the way you'll become who you are meant to be next. Yeah, it says the in-between, the end of what once was, letting go of who you were and rebirth into a new life. Unknown outcomes, complete immersion in the process of change. So yeah, I'm feeling that there's a lot of fears of it ending up poorly, like some sort of change. But Spirit wants you to know, like, this 100% is actually an opportunity to strengthen your foundation, strengthen whatever's related in the situation. It's gonna work out. So, you know, I'm telling you, like, there's no way that what I'm trying to say is Spirit will never give you 100% guarantee, right? Because that doesn't exist, but you can get confirmation from a tarot reader or whatever signs the universe gives you to trust your intuition on this and to take the leap. And you best believe, for me, it took confirmations from tarot readers and things to take leaps like this in my own life. And so I hope that I can kind of tell you that I know this experience and like it will be worth it. But at the end of the day, you have to decide to do it, right? And then with 22, I won't spend as long on it, but I just want to kind of read a little bit. It says, okay, Alice is rather lost in Wonderland, and when we are lost, it is only natural to ask those who seem to know more than we do for advice about what we ought to do and where we need to head. But the Cheshire Cat points out so cleverly, the right direction for Alice depends on where Alice wishes to go. It's the same for you now. And so what I'm getting, this is relating to the Hierophant and the Emperor, right? Is Spirit saying that you may be tempted or there may be like a part of you that wants to consult this decision with other people, a certain tradition, a certain norm, people that you trust. It's like you almost want to get guidance on it, but Spirit's saying for this situation, it's going to be up to you. Like, and Spirit's even saying consulting with guidance may even make you feel more afraid because you may be consulting with people that are afraid themselves to make a change, like the one you're considering. And so there's a feeling of needing to kind of block out other people's advice and just trust your own intuition here. It says, so now you must then spend some time focusing on your thoughts toward knowing where it is you wish to get to go. And I love that part in Alice in Wonderland where it's like the Cheshire Cat is, she's like, where do I go? Where do I go? And he's like, well, does it really matter what direction you take if you don't know where you want to go? And so there's a feeling here of, with the Emperor energy, harnessing a goal and being confident in it. And you don't have to know exactly where you're going, but just know that you are going, you know what I mean? And so, and I feel like this is almost the next stage of it, you know what I mean? But I feel like this is the phase you're moving into through the situation. It says, and it says, once you have a better idea of your desired destination, the ambition you wish to achieve, or the dreams you wish to create, you'll know what to do. So what Spirit is saying also is dare to dream your biggest dream. Dare to wish for exactly what you really want. And so with the Seven of Swords here, maybe a part of you is settling in a situation, a relationship, a job, whatever it is. There's some mode of being, some way of something in your life, some pattern that is going to shift or wants to shift. And sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. So what guidance I'm getting for you is to dream big and feel confident in what you can do, whatever this is related to. If it's a new relationship you want, feel confident in. So what you can do is like manifestation. Basically, it's like you just need to get into the energy of what would be ideal for you. It doesn't mean that you have to know exactly, like, you don't need to know the name of the person. You don't need to know what they look like. You don't need to know specific traits about them, but what you can do is tell yourself, this is the way I want to feel, right? And so this is a very powerful way to like manifest, is like, even if you don't know exactly where you're going, you can know what way you want to feel, right? And so if there's a feeling of like wanting to, like with the first example of like wanting to leave a job that like doesn't really emotionally serve you, right? A part of you is like, well, I don't know what I would do, right? So I'm afraid to take leaps. I don't know what I would do. But what Spirit's asking is, maybe you don't know exactly how it's going to unfold, but what you can do is you can say, you know what? I want to feel excited about my job. I want to feel like nourished by it. I want to feel this way. I don't know exactly how it's going to play out, but I want to feel this. And so what Spirit's saying is to, instead of meditating on what could go wrong, meditate on what could go right and how it could impact your life and what it would be. And the more you can get into that thought process, that's like literally manifestation. So the more you can visualize what it is without being too specific, but just telling telling the universe the characteristic of what you're looking for. Like you want to feel, you want to make your own decisions. It's like, then you can say exactly what you want in the universe. For example, like, I want a job where I can make my own decisions. I want a job where I feel empowered. I want a job where I make enough money and I can go on vacations. I want to create what you want in this situation and know you can have it and take a leap towards it. And the universe will thread the rest for you, right? It says, until you know that, it will be very hard for anyone to offer you any advice at all. This also applies to the advice you give yourself. Don't flail about and don't be at the mercy of other people's advice or opinions. Ask yourself what you want to do, create, achieve, and be. You can then seek the very best advice and heed in the best direction for you. So it says, set goals, write a wish list of accomplishments, realizing that to bring your dreams to reality, you need to know what it is you want to do, be, or create. The refusal to flotsam, I don't even know what that means any longer. It says, strike out in the best direction for you. So it's the refusal to settle, right? It's almost like until you feel confident in what you want to do, you're going to be surrounded by other people who are the same way. And so the advice you get from them is also going to be less useful because they don't have the advice you need. And so also there is a message here of maybe looking to people that you admire, or even like whatever it is, whatever you admire or whatever you look up to, try to spend time listening to that person or looking at the way that they lead their life, and you can get inspiration from that. But I feel like getting advice from people that are currently around you or currently involved in this situation is not going to be helpful to you, is essentially what I'm getting. Let's get a couple more. I just saw, but okay, you guys, I gotta keep trusting. When I'm cutting the deck, I swear the most accurate cards come out. There we go again. This is so insane. I literally opened it up to these two and I'm like, wait, these are the cards. And then I just did it again. So that's cool. So we have TikTok and Between Worlds. And so what Spirit wants me to tell you now is kind of to relieve, I would say, like some of this Nine of Swords energy. Is like, there may be a feeling that you have right now that, especially with the riddle, or like there may be a stress that you have to come to the right decision quickly, or you need, like, maybe you feel like your opportunities are fading, or you're afraid that everything's going to crumble due to like a bad timing or something. And so you may be putting pressure on yourself, or you may be being hard on yourself. But this TikTok in reverse kind of talks about how time is like a, what's the word? An illusion, a concept, just a construct. So a not social construct, but a construct, right? And Spirit's saying divine timing is at play here. And it's almost like whenever you align with the energy for this next phase, that's when everything will align to push you over. And so what Spirit's saying is, don't worry too much about the practicality of it. Don't worry too much about like the timing or exactly how it's going to work, like things like that. Spirit's saying align with the energy of what you want to be, of where you want to go, of how you want the situation to transform, of how you want whatever, like if it's a relationship, a job, whatever it is. There's just a need to know that you don't need to stress or think about it too logically. There's a need to kind of be more intuitive in this situation and just be aligned with the energy of the next step, and it will come to you, you know? And it's happening anyways. That's another thing Spirit's telling me is like, don't stress too much, because there's going to be a future self where you're just like, wow, remember when I was so stressed out about the situation? It ended up working out, and the process unfolded naturally. And there's just a need to not get too in your head, because the Nine of Swords can also talk about a sense of doom. That's what I was getting here. Is like, there's almost this feeling of like, what if everything falls apart? And I'm like, I'm hearing left homeless, which is not like, that's dramatic, you know what I mean? But I'm just saying, it's like, there's a feeling here of needing to trust in your courage, trust in your own ability to take the right steps when they're in front of you. And so it's kind of requiring a mix of divine masculine, divine feminine energy, where it's like a part of you is needing to, with the falling descent unknown, needs to be a trust in the universe, right? Which is that divine feminine energy of having faith, having faith and being receptive to the right opportunities and the right people coming in your life. And then with set your course, it's also like the masculine energy. However, though, there is a need to take some initiative in this situation, to take some yeah, to be at least somewhat clear of where you're going, and the universe will fill in the gaps. Okay, is what I'm getting. Okay, let's get some more for you. Yeah, wide open. Look at that. What else, Spirit? Tell number 1. Yeah, we have talisman. Yeah, and that's exactly what I'm getting at. Like, thank you, Spirit, for clarifying. It's like the talisman card is literally all about this represents almost like your north node, or it's, and there's this path here, right? It's about trusting that when you're following your intuition, when you're following the divine, when you're following that, you're on the right path, right? Yeah, so that's what I'm picking up on. Oh, and look at that yin and yang. That's so interesting, because it's like, yeah, it's like when you're in this balanced energy of listening to your intuition and taking steps, it's like you become unstoppable, and maybe a part of yourself doesn't trust that this is true. Let me see if there's anything else for that, because yeah, these are very spot on to the energy I'm getting. It says, a reverse talisman card warns that you must be aware of the repetitive patterns in your life. Sometimes the things that feel most familiar carry with them the reminders of what you don't want to experience again, right? And so there was a feeling of familiarity, right, with this tin in this castle. It's like this feeling of leaving the castle. It says, yet here you are faced with an important choice. You can move forward cautiously, or you can look for another path that will take you in a new direction. Consider this. If you've fallen down a hole a few times, why wouldn't you walk around this time? If you know that there's a hole, if you know where the hole lies, treasure that wisdom. Although the universe is unlimited, every individual path has some limitations. Accepting that not all avenues are available to you, that's not what I'm getting either. It says, that said, you don't have to retrace your footsteps either. No matter what, you're on this path to gain greater wisdom, regardless of the choice you make. This is a time to ask others who have been here before for advice and assistance. Their wisdom will awaken your own. And so there is an emphasis on getting advice from people who have maybe made a similar transition, or have who you may know, that you may look up to, who have done something simple, because that may really help you gain confidence, and they could give you some really good advice on how they did it. Yeah. And so there's a lot about here of like, it's almost like you've learned everything you need to learn about the current situation, and it's like you're ready to take the leap, but it just kind of requires a like spiritual leveling up, or like it's almost like time to if you're ready to pass this test, is what I'm like getting from Spirit. And it's just a matter of kind of taking the leap, and knowing that and through taking the leap, it will all come together, is what I'm getting. But there is a need to trust in the feelings you're having about your current situation, and trust that the new will be good. Okay, yeah. And so this is what I have. It says, act as if and sing your own song. Yeah, and so there's just a feeling here with act as if. That's kind of what I was getting from the energy of like manifestation, right? It's like act as if you know that, kind of fake it till you make it, is what I'm getting, because the universe will fill in the gaps. When you're going on your right path, like you're going to be very supported. And so what I'm getting is like a part of you just needs to take a leap of faith and kind of basically act as if, so before the external reality is showing you the truth of it, let your internal reality reflect where you want to go externally, how you want the situation to transform, or what newness you want in your life. And then we also have sing your own song. And so this may be a moment where you have to differentiate yourself from others, and you may have to break away from the norm or the traditions in the situation in order to bring your authentic truth out. And there was a lot about authenticity too that I was getting from these cards over here, of like, the answer is in what's authentic to you with this riddle. It's like you're not going to be able to find a logical reason, or you're not going to be able to find where you're going appearing until you take the jump and until you descend. But where it's bringing you is to a place where you can be authentic and trust yourself, and it's going to be a much more empowered stage that you're walking into. So yeah, that's what I'm getting for you guys, pile number 1. I'm going to get a sip of water, and then we're going to see what Spirit wants to go to for the extended. what would be most useful for pile number 1 for the extended reading, Spirit? We have the 9 of Wands, the Devil, the Knight of Pentacles, one more, the Page of Pentacles. Yeah, okay, so what I'm getting here, and then Temperance, Spirit wants me to go a little bit more into what's entrapping you here, because we have the 7 of Swords, and so with this Devil's energy, there could be something, some sort of, I don't know, codependency or something that you feel bound to or entrapped with in this situation. I'm going to illuminate that and go deeper into that, give you more guidance on what that energy is and how you can kind of free yourself. And because there's a lot of energy here, what Spirit mainly wants you to see is that there is a new opportunity for you. So you know what else I'm going to go into? I'm going to go into what this Devil energy is. What's the internal maybe wound here that's keeping you trapped and making it hard for you to move forward. How you can kind of defend yourself and how you can move towards this new beginning, because there's this new path I'm seeing for you. And so let's look into what this new path is and advice and get more advice for how you can be on that path, basically. So yeah, if that sounds interesting for you, I'll have it linked down below. And if you're leaving me here, thank you so much for listening to this reading. I appreciate having you here. If it did resonate, please do like this video, leave me a comment, and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next pick a card or reading. And I hope to connect with your energy again sometime soon. Hello, pile number 2. Welcome to your reading. If you chose the Antique Anatomy Tarot in the Black Obsidian Crystal, then this is going to be your reading. And we're going to be getting advice on your current situation. So hopefully we can bring you a little bit more clarity and understanding of how the best way to move forward and also what's going on in your situation, just to make sure that it is your pile. So there will be an extended reading where we will go into whatever else Spirit thinks it's most important to elaborate on. So that will be an option if you do feel like this resonates for you. We're going to start off with the Oracle cards that I pre-pulled. So we have Waning Crescent, the Sun Splendor, the Warrior, and the Storm. Right. The first thing that I'm noticing is that these cards are very busy. So it feels like there's a lot of energy surrounding this situation. Especially with the Storm here, this could be a kind of chaotic situation. The Storm actually relates to the Tower card in tarot, and so I feel like this situation we're talking about is definitely something that's triggering for you and is something that is causing you to put up your defenses with the Warrior here. With the Waning Crescent coming in, I'm going to get more clarification on it, but there's a feeling that something is coming crashing down or something is in a state of conflict right now, and it's moving towards an ending so a new beginning can come. The new moon is actually at the bottom of the deck here. So this feels like a very, like, I'm kind of getting the energy of 5 of Wands, where it's like there's maybe a lot of different opinions, or people are like butting heads with each other in this situation. And it's a situation that would require a lot of compassion and being able to see things from another person's perspective. I feel like people's egos are triggered right now in this current situation. And it's like the dust is going to settle, but it's like, what is this coming through as? It's like the storm, wait, the calm. Oh, is it the calm before the storm? I'm getting the storm before the calm. So it's like, or maybe you're gearing up to go into maybe some sort of conflict is coming or something like that. But there's a feeling of dissipating energy though with the Waning Crescent. The Sun Splendor card here is telling me that the situation definitely involves different kinds of people, or involves people with different perspectives who don't identify the same way. Different opinions clashing is what I'm getting to. And it's a difficult situation because I just think it's very triggering. So there could be karmic energy involved in this. I'm getting that it is some sort of a karmic situation. I'm going to leave it open. So whatever your situation is, this could be a relationship we're talking about. It could be a friendship, a work situation. But I am getting that it's involving clashing ideas, and how do we make harmony out of different perspectives, and do we allow, and I'm also getting the Five of Swords energy with the Warrior. Like there's a feeling of, is this, are we gonna be in the Five of Wands energy or the Five of Swords energy for the situation? So there's a feeling that there's a potential for people to go into a winning for the sake of winning in the situation with the Five of Swords. So it'd be like there's clear people that have been defeated, and clear winners, but always with the Five of Swords at the end of the day, the question is, did you really win if kindness wasn't involved, and if, you know what I mean, like you then lose something, though. You lose the friendship or you lose the connection. And there's also a warning here from Spirit, that things are very high energy. I'm getting like emotions are running high, or a lot of things are running high in this. And so there could be temptation to act in a way that you maybe would regret in this situation with the Warrior there. The Warrior, the Storm talks about how you can't overpower the storm. Like this feels like there's some energy within this that's greater than all parties involved in trying to win, or trying to, I don't know, like, yeah, something about that, like trying to compete in the situation will end up causing more destruction. And the Storm, the Warrior card talks about making sure that you ground yourself and go within before dealing with this, because what decisions you make in this situation, it feels like they're going to be permanent and they're going to follow you, and there could be regret later on. And so Spirit's almost wanting to point out that, what is it going to be like after you take action here? What, like, you know what I mean? Because with the new moon being here, it's like this situation isn't going to be forever is what I'm getting. Like there's a feeling that this will be temporary, and it's almost a question of how will you maintain your peace, or how will you maintain your values through being challenged in this way? And I do feel like I'm getting a challenging situation. So that should give you a little bit of insight as to whether or not this is your pile. You may want to listen to the beginning part of another pile if you don't feel like this is your situation. But this is definitely with the Sun Splendor. This talks about an overall goal of humanity. And we also have the oh my gosh, I can never say this. The androgyny card here, which talks about an acceptance of differences and kind of seeing yourself in other. And so this is a moment where I feel like your ego is either going to have a collapse. I'm getting like your ego will either need to go through a death, or you may act through your ego in the situation, which may lead to consequences. But let's see what else we can get for this, because that's a little bit broad and I want to get more specific. So Spirit, please tell me, what is pile number 2's current situation, and what advice do you have for them regarding this? I'm hearing all is fair in love and war. This is the Seven of Cups, the Page of Pentacles, the High Priestess, the Wheel of Fortune, the Two of Wands, the Seven of Pentacles, the Ace of Cups, this is too many, Spirit. There's something really variable about this situation. It's almost like this feeling that you don't know how it's going to turn out. There's a feeling that you can't really see the dust settling right now. Because with the Seven of Cups here, it's like there's a lot of illusion and confusion in the situation. And with the Wheel of Fortune, it feels like you don't know where this is going to go. Like it feels like the situation could go really bad. It could go really good. There's just a feeling of it's variable right now how the situation is going to play out. Then the Chariot. Oh my gosh, there's so many cards coming out for this. This is like a very active, like there's a lot of energy around this. I'm just going to take it because I feel like it's a complex story. So we also have the Page of Swords. Oh my gosh, do not give me two. That's, no. Just one more, please, Spirit. Please. The Tower and the Ace of Wands. Okay, I'm just going to take both, I guess. And then the Knight of Cups. Okay, so what's really interesting, I am getting this could be a relationship for some of you guys that's like a challenging and testing relationship. I'm trying to think of what other scenarios I could really get. But let me just look at these cards for a second. There's a feeling here that it's like this situation feels like you're confused about what the outcome is going to be, number one. Like that's something that I think is stirring some sort of drama, or there's some sort of drama around not being sure what's going to happen, number one. And so with the Page of Coins being here, it could be like a new opportunity or how something's going to progress. Like this could be either like a relationship, like with someone, whether this situation has a future is what I'm getting. It's almost a feeling of okay, so what I'm getting is this is a situation that's really testing you and challenging you. And there's a question here. Is it going to be possible to have a positive outcome here? And can we overcome the challenges to come to some sort of ending where it's a happy ending where both people are honored? Can we collaborate or not? Is everything going to fall apart in our is there going to be a disillusionment of whatever this is? So I keep saying it very vaguely because it could be anything. It could be a relationship. It could be a business partnership. It could be a friendship. It could be an opportunity that you want to like move forward. But there's a feeling that it's like, there's a feeling that what you may desire. And I think what both people want in this situation, or both parties, because I am getting, it's like, some sort of opportunity, and just feels like there are multiple people involved, or at least two. Yeah, it's like you have to deal with people in the situation is kind of what I'm getting. But it's Ace of Cups. It's like about your emotional fulfillment, though. It's like there's potential that if everything goes right, this could turn into a really emotionally fulfilling opportunity for you. So it almost feels like there's an energy here of what's at stake, I would say, is like emotional fulfillment, a new opportunity, and an opportunity progressing. So whether this is a relationship with someone, a business idea, it's something like that. But right now it feels like there's been illusion, and I think things have been very up and down in this situation. And so it could just be creating a lot of drama or fear, you know what I mean? Like there's a fear that with the Seven of Pentacles, like, what if this isn't going to work out? Like, I think you may be dealing with fears of, you may be afraid of putting effort into the situation, or you don't know. It's almost a feeling of like, do I want to keep putting effort into this? Do I want to keep problem solving, or am I over it? You know what I mean? Or am I done? Do I want to just let it go? Almost is kind of what I'm getting. And with the Chariot here, it's like Spirit's saying that there is potential for success in whatever you're asking about. So if it's there's some sort of tension though, and it requires taking a higher path though. It requires listening to your intuition about someone or something over what's physically going on right now. There's a feeling here of Spirit saying that if you look at the situation externally right now, I think most logical people would be like, this isn't going to work out. This is not good for me. Or like, what's the point in this? Let's throw in the towel. I'm done, But there's a feeling that what the warrior and the storm both suggest is going when you can't see on the outside or when things are confusing or chaotic. There's a feeling of spirit wanting to tell you to go inward and to ask your intuition what it thinks, not its logic or what you see in front of you, what feels right to your heart in this situation. Because as of right now, it can change. The situation definitely, there's fate involved. Like there's a feeling that um you can't control. That's what I keep getting. You can't control the way that this is going to unfold. And so it's like you have to make an internal decision here, whether or not it feels right to you or not. But what spirit is saying, and that's going to be up to you, that's your free will. Spirit's saying you can have success in this situation, but it requires you going inward, trusting what your intuition is telling you, trusting that the situation will advance and you will come to this beautiful ending here. Or not ending, but this beautiful new beginning. Okay, so I could even see this being like a relationship that's falling apart, but in your heart, like it feels right or something. Or it could be like, yeah, I don't know, make it fit your situation, but it definitely is some kind of a situation where you're being very much tested on your determination and your commitment. I'm getting the card, your commitment is being tested because you're not going to be getting support and validation externally, or maybe you guys aren't, maybe this situation you guys aren't feeling very connected with whoever it involves or whatever it involves, or it may just look like it's falling apart and you may just want to throw in the towel. But again, there's a feeling here that with the Chariot, the Ace of Cups is potential, is possible. It's possible to it's possible. And so what I'm getting here is that with the Page of Swords, like I'm getting number one, that like, and the Tower also came out, like, and then with the Ace of Wands, it's like there's a feeling here that maybe something fell apart, that it's like it was progressing, there was this new potential, but then something happened. I'm getting that there was some sort of drama or some sort of chaos within the situation, fit it to your situation. But there's a feeling with the Page of Swords here that it would require you to keep an open mind and to stay optimistic. You know, I feel like you're going to be your own worst enemy in the situation. I feel like especially if you let yourself become pessimistic or become too unforgiving of someone or something. It's like an opportunity for you to be as kind. It's like if you can find it within yourself to be kind to the situation and to be optimistic even when it's hard and even when it feels like everything's falling apart, Spirit's saying like it will be rewarded, and there is a new beginning coming with this situation. We had the new moon, and the Ace of Wands. It's like through something falling apart within this, there's been a deeper reason for it. And I also do feel like with the Page or the Knight of Cups here, it's like this is a test of the Five of Swords. I'm not surprised to see it. Ten of Wands. Yeah, it's like, oh my gosh. It's like this is weighing really heavy on you. It's like this is becoming very draining is what I'm getting. But Spirit's saying the way through this situation and the way to if this feels like a situation that's impossible, it's like this is impossible, or like it's just becoming too hard, like I just want to give up, or I can't keep, it's becoming too difficult for me or something like that. Like there's a feeling that if you're able to follow your heart and listen to your intuition despite what's going on, there will be a clarity. Like there's something with the storm, it's like seeing to the eye of the storm or something like that. And it's like there's a feeling here of with the Warrior, also a feeling that Spirit wants to tell you that you have what you need in this situation. It's gonna take willpower, it's gonna take strength, determination, and when you're going into the situation, it's like you're not gonna be able to see. It's not gonna be easy. You know what I mean? It's not gonna be. It's level difficult. Like, you know what I mean? There's just a feeling here. This is level difficult for you, and it's testing and it's challenging something about this, and it's like, but it will be a test of your commitment, endurance, and ability to stay committed to something that you want, is what I'm getting. And there's a feeling that if you let your emotions or your ego or like your frustration get the best of you, and like that kind of comes out in the way you deal with the situation, there's just a feeling that you would regret that, because Spirit's saying there is potential for this to work out. Anything's possible. It's another thing I'm getting with the Seven of Cups and the Wheel of Fortune. Anything's possible. It's like, it just depends on the decision you make. Because with the Two of Wands here, it's like, do you want to play it safe and do what your ego would want to do? Or do you want to spiritually be a spiritual warrior in this situation and and be open to the new, and to not give up. There's a feeling of that, and a feeling to say like, yeah, I see that the situation looks like this right now, but I'm not going to, there's also a feeling of maybe like not settling for what you've always done. It's like there's an opportunity, I almost feel like, where it's like things would be really hard for a second, but it's worth it. Like keep pushing is what I'm getting, which I definitely don't recommend it. If this is a toxic situation or one that's really difficult, you know, be safe, or do what you feel is right for you. But yeah, there's a message of trusting yourself and knowing you have the willpower to get through this situation. Even if things have fallen apart or things have gone in a way that would feel like a setback or something. It's like, how dedicated are you to what your heart wants in this situation, I guess. Yes, this is it. Oh my gosh. Yep. Okay, I've been taking recently the cards that I'm like opening to. I found that they've been really accurate for me. Yeah, oh my gosh, these two cards are going to be spot on for the advice for the situation. So I'm going to read you some of it just because there's details that I can't like give you, but I can tell you like an overall thing. This is the card I was seeing in my mind, and I'm like yes to the fact that it cut to that. But this situation with the right way, learning to create what you desire, with the Seven of Pentacles, there's a feeling here that you could settle, or you could take a shortcut, but Spirit's very much encouraging you to keep going, because what you're creating is going to be very fulfilling to you in this situation, and it's going to be worth it, is what I'm getting. But it is a test, you know, and I keep saying that, but let me just read you 40 because it's like exactly what I'm picking up on. It says, the lessons of your life are taking place at a fast rate, far too swiftly for you to process them. Yeah, it feels like things are like really intense here. It says, it seems like you're only just keeping up with the changes coming to you. You must work very hard to make any discernible progress for now. You've been trying and trying to get ahead, and yet you always seem to be in the very same place. And so look at that Seven of Pentacles. There's a feeling that when you look at the situation, it feels like it's not promising, or it feels like you want to give up or something. But it says, this could be in almost any aspect of your life: your finances, relationships, career, or success. At this point in time, the answer is to work even harder. Like, and this is like not to I want to say that the qualifications for resonating with this message, this is not a situation where intuitively you don't feel like it's right for you. This is a situation where intuitively it's something you really want. Okay, like this is a situation where you're following your heart right now, and there's something that is difficult but worth it, that makes you want to give up, or makes you just want to go to an old way, or just doesn't feel like it's progressing, but like Spirit wants you to know it is. Okay, it says, you will not have to do this much work with this much effort perhaps ever again, but the only way out of your current situation is to accelerate, get intense, and push for the breakthrough that is just ahead of you, and the clarity in the eye of the storm. You will need to devote more time than you wish, and sacrifices will need to be made. However, if you do this, you will push through the resistance and explode into the next stage of your life. Yes, new beginning, right? You will explode you will get this Ace of Cups, and you can do it. The Chariot is all about staying towards the goal when there's chaos around you. The usual card has the person on I was going to say the sleigh, but this is not like Santa's sleigh. It's like, you know, the Sphinxes. It's all about keeping your reins, and it's a test of determination and willpower, this situation. So that's kind of what I'm getting. It says, put all your efforts into surging ahead and watch as you begin to move in the tiniest of ways ahead of where you have been. Once you take that lead, stay focused on where you're going, and you'll begin to leave the place you find yourself in now. When you push through, others will recognize the incredible dedication you have in your own life. This will inspire them to push forward with their own dreams too. One thing is for sure: the intensity of your approach books no resistance. Your movement and energy will drive away all stagnation. Now go. A time of very hard work, getting ahead, determination, resolve to push through into the next stage. The urge to improve your status and be rewarded. Moving quickly with strength and stamina. A great deal to process and integrate. It's like, yes, things are moving fast paced. It's hard. It's really difficult is what I'm getting. Yeah, that's just like the what I'm getting here. And the reason, and I feel like this card is coming out 21. This is coming out to explain to you why this kind of intensity is needed, and like why the 10 of Wands. I'm definitely getting that from like the 10 of Wands energy here. And the world is underneath. It's like you're close to the end. You're close to success is what I'm getting. Like you're very close to success in the situation. It just almost requires one more push. And so it's like, if you feel like you're just getting to this point where like, why am I doing this? Like, and you just you know, it's like you have to go back to your reason and you have to go back into yourself and be like, my heart says this, that's why. And that's how dedicated I am to creating whatever this is. And so there's a feeling of advancement, or like the Ace of Cups is here, which is something that's going to be very fulfilling for you, right? Let me get a sip of kombucha. And so it says, learning to create what you desire. This is the right way. The frog footman really does go to the heart of things. When we're pondering how to make a life dream happen, or how we are to get in, through, or to the other side of whatever issues is facing us, we might wonder if we are meant to get in at all. Yeah, and so there's this feeling of like, am I on the right path? Is this stupid? Like, you know what I mean? Like, am I being told by the universe I should give up? It says we can spend a great deal of time pondering our destiny, wondering if something is meant for us, and sometimes giving it up to fate, proclaiming if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. And then it says, and that's exactly what I'm getting with the Wheel of Fortune here. There's like a part of you that could just go, well, you know, the universe, you know, like Spirit's saying, don't leave this to chance. So it says, Alice has a different approach. She doesn't ask if it's meant to be. She asks how it will be done. This practical approach may not seem so spiritual to some, but we are not meant to go with the flow and see where life takes us. Here, Alice knows what must be done and sets out to discover how to achieve it. When this card comes out, this is what you must do. Do not wonder if something is meant for you, nor leave it in the hands of the gods. Instead, think of how it can be done. What practical steps can you take? And that's that Page of Pentacles too. And the Seven of Coins. Like sometimes it could talk about not being satisfied, but it's about putting the work in. And the Chariot is about making progress no matter how small it is. It's like you're still going, right? It says, do not wonder, what practical steps can you take? How can you approach the problem in order to solve it? How can we solve this? And that's what I was getting to, is like, there was this feeling coming through of like, am I going to cooperate in this, or am I going to throw the towel in? Am I going to try to figure this out and keep figuring it out, even though it's confusing and stressful and pushing me to my limit? Spirit's like, hell yeah, you are. But of course it's up to you, free will. And make sure this is a situation. What I keep trying to say, but I keep not saying in a full sentence, is I'm not saying push forward when a situation clearly is not good for you or not healthy for you. This is something that you really want, right? The outcome. It says, what actions can be taken and what advice can you seek? There is always a way through the other side. And it's like in asterisks, or it's in this, what is that called? Whatever, I'm not even going to say that. A way through the other side. But passively waiting and waiting and waiting for it to simply swing open is not as powerful as actively figuring out the puzzle and discovering how you're to reach the other side. So ask questions, seek advice, look again from a different angle. Think of the how. Yeah, it's wanting to get through to the other side of the situation, a desire to walk through a gateway or life transition, to become an insider rather than remaining on the periphery, wanting to have an impact, to be included, to be a part of activities and have an influence on the world, a willingness to learn step by step. Yeah. Yes. And so Spirit, the guidance here is to keep going and do whatever you can, whatever is in your willpower. The Chariot is all about that willpower, right? Despite what's not worked in the past, there's a feeling here of keep going, keep following your heart. Like if you want this, you can have it, but it requires seeing things from a new perspective, problem solving. And that's the Page of Swords here too, is not becoming defensive and closed off to new ideas, but in fact, when something falls down with the Tower here, what's a new solution, new pathways, new thoughts? You know what I mean? Like keep problem solving in this situation is what's coming through. Let's get some more for you guys. Go the distance. Yes, I'm taking these. It's like Spirit's saying that this is a situation that requires you to keep at it. And Spirit's saying, keep the vision within. And so, this just could be a situation where people are opposing you, or there's something that's just like, feels like, it's not for you or something, but it is what Spirit's saying. We have Orphaned in reverse. And then To Be Fair in reverse. No Place Like Home at the back of the deck. Spirit, okay, this is like, what I'm getting here is like, you guys may be even feeling right now, like this situation isn't fair. Like you've been unfairly treated, or you've been unfairly, like you haven't been given the opportunity or something. There's just a feeling here of this story coming through of someone who didn't have all of the help that some people did in achieving this, or whatever it is. There's just a feeling of, although it isn't easy, and although you weren't spoon-fed in this situation, you're not going to be spoon-fed. The universe, it requires your specific effort. There's something really strong about you, and there's some sort of spiritual strength, and there's like this internal warrior within, where it's like there's a need to get out of what's not going to serve you. Is feeling a victim to the situation, or feeling that life isn't fair, or feeling that it isn't fair, or feeling that you're not being included or something. Like there's just almost this feeling of things being harder for you, and that kind of making you want to give up. But what Spirit's saying is that's actually what makes you so special and unique, is that maybe you are coming from a disadvantage, or maybe it hasn't been easy, but it doesn't mean that whatever you're working towards, whatever this is, it's going to make it all the more worth it, is what I'm getting. And I feel like you're overcoming with the Orphaned here, overcoming feelings of, it's almost like this situation has the potential to trigger your ego defensive, like the Five of Swords energy of feeling defeated, right? Like that's the Five of Swords, where we start doubting ourselves, or we start feeling like either we're going to start like being self-destructive, sabotaging, or we may be projecting onto other people, right? And so I was kind of getting this semi like Five of Swords energy, where it's like there may be a part of you that just wants to blame everything and everyone in the universe that's involved in the situation, and that be like your ego response, and throw in the towel and be like, well, you're wrong, and like this is stupid, and like, but then you wouldn't get your result, right? And then there's also this feeling that, or maybe some of you guys are feeling I'm not good enough for this. So it's like the Five of Swords, and either you're projecting it onto other people, or you're taking it in. So, or you could be saying, all of these people are too good for me. I didn't deserve this in the first place. Like, I don't deserve this. I can't do it. Like, who was I to think this? Like, who was I to think all of this? You know what I mean? And like, you may then start feeling defeated within yourself, or feel like you don't have what it takes. But either way, Spirit's recommending to not go into any of those ego responses, and to reconnect with your heart and your intuition and your why. Like, why do you want this outcome in this situation, right? Yeah, I'm just looking at the timer to see how long I've been talking, because I sometimes do not know. Yes, okay, I'm gonna get a couple of which cards do I want to go into? Go into these. All right, Spirit, to conclude this reading, for pile number 2, what is your final advice for the situation? It says slow and steady wins the race. It's like, keep going, just keep pushing. Like, even if you don't feel like this cheetah, you don't have to be this cheetah. You don't, just because it's not making progress super fast, the Seven of Pentacles, doesn't mean that you're not making progress. Yes, 100%, literally slow and steady wins the race. I think we all know what that means. So a couple more. What advice? It says Spirit has your back. So if you're ever feeling like the universe is like against you, or you question your connection, or you don't know if you're supported, Spirit's saying 100%, we are backing you up through the situation. We're so proud of you. We know this is hard for you. You will be rewarded, is what I'm hearing. Open to infinite possibilities, and then you see clearly now. And so what Spirit is saying is, what makes this situation more confusing for you is when you limit your mindset, when you don't allow yourself to imagine different possibilities. Like, there's a feeling here of like, even if this situation has fallen apart multiple times, even with like, this could be a relationship, it's like, there's a feeling that if you want to give up on this relationship, but you feel like it's really important to you, or something else, it's like, there's a feeling that your heart and soul is calling you to this new beginning, this new situation. And Spirit's saying, once you are open to infinite possibilities, once you believe in the impossible and believe in miracles, that's when you'll see clearly. And there's a feeling that if you let yourself see what's happening in front of you, and if it feels like it's contradicting, or it's not supporting the results that you want, it's like there's a feeling of Spirit saying, don't let that limit your mind or get you down. Like, stay focused on the manifestation, stay focused on the goal, stay open to the potential, because it is possible. It's like, that's the main message I keep getting coming through. Yeah, so let's see what Spirit wants to go into for the extended reading. What's most important for pile number 2 to hear more about in regards to the situation? I'm seeing Magician and Strength here. All right, what's most important to go into for pile number 2's extended? We have Queen of Cups. Ten of Cups. Wow. This could really be about a relationship, you guys. Like, this could be, there's some sort of emotional fulfillment, you know? So it's either some sort of opportunity or job or success that would be really emotionally fulfilling for you. Or it could be a person or a relationship that you really want. We have Strength. And the Queen of Cups is all about listening to your intuition as well. Oh my gosh, and the Hierophant, which talks about listening to your higher self. Okay, so, ooh, you know what I'm going to go into for this pile? I'm going to look at a message from your higher self, or actually, you know, what'd be really interesting is a message from your future self about this situation. Let's do that. I'm going to get a message from your higher self that is also your future self. So we're going to see what your future self has to say about the situation, who will already have known how it plays out. Yeah, so let's get that advice from your higher self about this, what you maybe can't see about it because it's confusing within the 3D right now. So how about what you're not seeing about the situation, advice from your higher self and your future self. So that's what we're going to do for the extended, if that sounds interesting for you. Because I feel like your higher self has a lot of strength that they want to give you and like wants to remind you of like your truth in this. And what the 10 of Cups being here just makes me feel like that whatever you're pushing forward towards has the ability to bring you an abundance of happiness. Anyways, so that's what we're going to go into. If you are going to finish off here, that's totally fine. If you did enjoy the reading, please do like this video. It really supports my channel. Leave a comment. I like to see what you guys have to say about the readings, and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next pick a card reading. And I hope to connect with your energy again sometime soon. Hello, pile number 3. Welcome to your reading. If you chose the green fluorite crystal and the Ethereal Visions Illuminated Tarot, then this is going to be your reading where we're going to be getting you some advice on your current situation. So I pre-pulled some oracle cards just to start with an energy check-in and kind of see what comes through right away. There will be an extended reading where we'll be asking Spirit what else we would be important to go into after we're kind of concluding this topic. So stay tuned for that if you feel like this is really resonating for you, but we're just going to get started with the oracle cards. So we have Body as a House, the Heart, Mystical Sister, and 4. So a song was coming through when I was getting ready to start the pile. And that usually tends to be a channeled message. So I'm not surprised to see the heart here, because the song that was coming through is this song that I listened to when I was like in middle school. And it's called Oh Darling. It's like, oh darling, I love you so. If you ask me for my heart, there's no way that I'd say no. And it's kind of like a coming of age, like romance kind of song, or it kind of feels like a crush type of song. And so what I'm picking up from these cards with the 4 here in Mystical Sister, there's a feeling of you guys, it's almost like you guys are ready to expand, or it's like you're having an expansion in your heart chakra or your heart space. There's a feeling that maybe you're the type of person who, I don't know, had been playing things safe for a while. With 4, it's all about stability and kind of following rules, not really being open to change. But there's a feeling here with Body as a House. This card talks about, and the body part goes with number 4. There's almost a feeling of the Emperor's energy being number 4 as well. So it's like this feeling of having had a lot of focus on maintaining your own stability. So maybe not as much room for love or like opening yourself up to that. But what this card talks about is like spirit flowing through the veins of your body. And so it's almost one of those cards that, for me, it's almost talking about like the structure of the body becoming more fluid and opening to more like spiritual energy or more like loving energy without it being so 3D is kind of what I'm getting. So there's almost a feeling of ascension here, or a feeling of you guys becoming more aware of the world as a interconnected and more than just, you know, what meets the eye. There's kind of a feeling of that. And with mystical sister here, there could be someone particular in your life that you feel very like is a kindred soul to you, or you may feel like there's some sort of guide to you, or it's like your heart has a lot of love for someone is kind of what I'm getting. And so I saw Mercury at the bottom of the deck for this deck, and synchronicity, and so there's, and then also the unseen, so there's a feeling here of like, and then the animals underneath. And so what I'm kind of getting is like, it's almost like maybe for a time period you guys were in more of a realistic mentality, or one where you were focusing on your survival needs, or like not having, it's almost like the hierarchy of needs, like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, where it's like you get a certain level, it's like self-realization being at the top and then your basic physical needs being at the bottom. It's like I feel like you're moving up that hierarchy, and it's like you're kind of working through the need to maybe let go of some more rigid structures in your life that maybe would keep love out, or would keep you from being able to express and like take a chance, and like kind of let more happiness into your life. And so with the unseen, I was getting the feeling of like secret feelings here, or needing to express your feelings, learning to express your feelings or something. And yeah, we have the sun underneath this, and then also I noticed we have Jupiter underneath synchronicity, we have summer, and then sugar. And so there's this feeling of like life getting sweeter for you, but almost maybe still needing to like adapt to it. I'm also getting the card that says everything you need too soon, or the energy of someone who it's like, it's hard to almost step into being happy, or it's like, it's almost like you have healed, or you have become more healthy within yourself, but there's almost like a feeling of like now more abundance is available to you, but there may be a sense of resistance, or a feeling of like needing to be open to receiving, or being open to like the given, the flow of love is kind of what I'm getting. And now I'm hearing, can you feel the love tonight? Oh my gosh, and look at this Ace of Cups and Four of Wands. So there could be some sort of romantic situation here. Oh my god, the Lovers and Four of Wands. Yeah. So you guys, I was waiting for a more romantic or love-based reading to come through, just because I do so many of them, and um, I think this one is more of a love reading. So yeah, it's something about like letting happier times into your life, like letting celebration come back in, and stability. Like the Four of Wands for me is also about stability, and kind of like letting yourself be happy. It's like a time for celebration, and think about like a marriage is almost like a celebration of things coming together, and it's like that feeling of like we've made it, you know, or like you know, it's kind of like a, what's it called, a, the words slipping from me, but it's a, what's like a point in your life where you like you check off the list or something, or it's like a, it's not like a bucket list, but it's like what is that word, it's like, I'm getting like hallmark, but that's not the right word either. It's like a goal or something, you know? It's like where you reach a place. Yeah. Oh my gosh. And I'm seeing the Lovers and the Four of Cups. Look at that. So, oh my God, Two of Cups underneath, and then the Balance, Two of Pentacles. So, I mean, I'm not even pulling cards, but like I am going to pull cards, but these are just like what's coming through. And I've been getting a lot of information just from cutting the deck. But what I'm getting for this pile is like, there's a feeling of you opening up to love after a time period of maybe being in hermit mode, or being less open. Because the Four of Wands is, or Four of Cups is that energy I was talking about, where it's kind of like, it's a four for a reason, like four and four. It's like after a time period of change, it's almost like the Four of Cups is in this energy where it's like you're not completely satisfied, but you don't want to go through any more pain, or you don't want to risk anything. It's like a time period of not wanting to take risks, or not, yeah, not wanting to be too vulnerable. It's like you're just kind of focusing on your stability, and it's like a lower need on the Maslow's hierarchy, but now it's like you're graduating from needing to just be stable. So it's almost like you're more ready for opening up to love. And so it's now time to balance out like love, pleasure, things upper, like on the hierarchy, like of things that just would make you happy, right? We also have sitting on top of the world here. Everything will be okay too. So it's like balancing your more practical stability and things like that, but then also allowing for more fun or like happiness, like just pure like love and connection, like letting yourself connect more with other people. Yeah, Four of Swords. It's like I was gonna literally just say the Four of Swords because I want to give the example of like how in the Three of Swords it goes from Three of Swords, which is a lot of pain, to Four of Swords, where it's like you're recuperating, right? So I'm getting like there's a 4 stage here that you guys are coming out of. So meaning that it's like it's almost like you're ready for more change in your life, and it's like you're ready to open up your heart. After a time period of maybe feeling isolated, maybe feeling like alone in a way, or feeling like you don't really belong, or like you weren't even striving for love. Oh, I'm getting accidentally in love too, like that song. All right, let's see. What is pile number 3 situation and what advice do you have for them? Four of Pentacles, exactly. Like I'm not trying to, or I don't know what I'm saying. I'm not trying to. It very much relates with this 4 energy, right? And so I'm going to reiterate. It's like this feeling of you guys having to have played it safe for a time period and just focus on your basic needs, right? Like making sure that, keeping your feelings close to your chest. And the 4 of Pentacles can also talk about someone who's keeping their feelings back or holding themselves back, and wanting to make sure that they're in like a good position. But then they may be missing opportunities or missing chances to connect with others, because it's like when you're in this security energy, it's like, yes, you're fighting off potential hazards or potential situations that could be painful, but then you're also not open to things that could be really beautiful and enriching for your life. And so there's a feeling here of you learning to balance out. Look at the Fool at the bottom of the deck. Thank you, Spirit. Spirit's very like on point right now. But yeah, it's like these being the opposite energies that I'm getting. It's almost like there's some feeling of you needing to take a risk, or being more open to that, and maybe not overthinking things. Yeah, instead of overthinking with the King of Swords, or making everything be logical, it's almost like you're learning to move more through your heart and trust that there's people out there, or maybe there's a specific person for you guys that like maybe you're trying to figure out this is someone who's trustworthy, or if like you're figuring out if you want to connect more with people or connect more with a specific person. It's like I feel like Spirit's wanting to introduce you to more soul people, or is pushing you to be more open to someone or multiple people, whatever it is for your situation. What else is pile number 3 situation and guidance, please? We have the 7 of Swords. Yeah, it's like you guys have maybe dealt with people. Oh my God, literally, Spirit is just so on point right now. With the 6 of Swords at the back of the deck, it's like it feels like you've been moving on from, there's a feeling of you having to move forward with some woundings. And so the 6 of Swords is like this energy of just like, and the 4 of Swords underneath, it's like there's a feeling that you've gone through a lot. You've had events in your life that have been hard to get through, for sure. So like props to you for what you've been through. But there's a feeling here that you may be very closed off to people, or you may have a hard time trusting other people's intentions. And you're almost afraid. I feel like with the Tower here, you may have experienced Tower moments in specific relationships where it's kind of giving you issues with like trusting or just being open to people, learning to not always be in this scarcity mode where you have to protect yourself, which is something I totally relate to. It's like this feeling of the 7 of Swords energy. It's like you're trying to move away from that. And I think you have. And I feel like what Spirit's wanting to tell you is that you have really already moved away. And there's such a feeling of graduating from this phase, but kind of needing to rebalance yourself, or let go of the pain and the baggage that may have been a product of like trauma or like difficult relationships, things you've been through, and just take the lessons, which is much more easier said than done. It's something I still like try to work on all the time, but that's what I'm feeling Spirit's wanting to talk about with you guys. What else? Pile number 3. We have the King of Pentacles. Get a sip of my coffee. What's pile number 3's current situation? And I'm just getting this feeling that it's like you have more than enough right now. It's like there's almost this feeling of like you can afford to open up. Like there's a feeling of having more than enough and being in a really good position in life, especially with like the body as a house coming out. There's a feeling that you may be healthier than usual, or you may just be in a good place with yourself right now. And it's like Spirit's wanting to remind you of that. We have the Seven of Pentacles. The Knight of Wands. Pile number 3 is Three of Wands. Two of Swords at the back of the deck. Okay. Okay, so what I'm getting is this feeling of like a hesitancy to take some kind of an action that I feel like you're passionate about, or like it feels like your soul is wanting to be able to be more courageous or like follow your gut. You know, like the Knight of Wands is someone who takes action and doesn't have to think too much about it. But there's this feeling that because of some sort of trauma or because of something like a lack of trust or a feeling to need to protect yourself, it's like there's a feeling of like not taking action when that's what your intuition, your heart really wants you to do. And it's like your intuition will feel connected to a situation or a person, whatever it is for you guys. It's going to be different for everyone, but it's like it could be like taking action towards a certain person that you may have feelings for, or taking action towards a friend, or like if you want to connect with a friend, or something like that. But there's a feeling of maybe waiting for the right time, or having a hard time just trusting yourself. Yeah, it's something about you feeling maybe confused about who's really on your side, or who's really a good friend or a good lover, like who's someone that it's like you're having a hard time trusting others. Like that's just what's coming through with the Three of Pentacles and the Two of Swords. It's like you may go back and forth in your mind, or just maybe like you guys may sometimes confuse your anxiety or like fear for your intuition, and there may just be a feeling that you stop yourself before you can even try something or take any action towards it. Yeah, with the Seven of Pentacles here, with the Four of Pentacles, there's a feeling that you won't take an action towards something unless you feel you may preemptively, before you actually know the truth, you may tell yourself, don't take the risk, because what if you end up putting energy towards it and then you're not satisfied with like what ends up happening? Or worse, what if you get betrayed, or like what if you take action towards something and you follow your heart and then that person isn't genuine or something like that. But I feel like what Spirits wants to remind you of is like with this King of Pentacles energy is that you've already gone through these lessons where you've needed to learn to be maybe more discerning with people, or maybe you've been shown certain people that didn't have the best intentions towards you, and so you've grown, and it's like you're in this very abundant energy. And like with the King of Pentacles being here, it's like there's almost a feeling of like you can protect yourself, or you are protected, and you have everything you need. And so there's almost this need to like for your self-esteem to know that like even if someone ended up BSing you, you can always rely on yourself, and like you've become strong enough to know that that can't what am I getting? Spirit saying something really funny. It's like, or not funny, but who used to tell me about this? Like, there's something about like face planting into the cement, or like someone doing that to you, or like a kick flip, or like when someone like smashes your face in the cement. It's like that's not going to happen to you, because you are in a better position than you were, I feel like, in the past. And I'm also getting here that maybe in the past you went really quickly towards things without thinking too much, or you didn't assess people's intentions enough, right? And so maybe that ended up being something that ended up hurting you a lot. But there's a feeling of needing of Spirit wanting you to know that you deserve to experience more connection with people, and you deserve to experience you don't deserve to be in this like I'm getting like a turtle, like needing a shell, or like you don't have to be so timid, if that makes sense, or be so scared of other people, because you have the resources you need um to put yourself out there. And like even if it doesn't go well, you're not going to be as crushed as maybe you think you will. And that's what I'm kind of getting, like this fear of maybe going after what you want, or this fear of being completely happy or something. It's almost like this feeling of like Spirit wanting to push you towards more happiness, or bring more happiness into your life, but then this fear of like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen, so I just might not do anything, you know. But with everything will be okay. It's like this feeling of Spirit wanting to say like, dare to dream, like dare to dream. And even though there are going to be people with this slimy energy, you know, you are better equipped now to protect yourself from that. And there's a way to balance out being protected and being open, right? And so I feel like Spirit's wanting you to find more balance with that, and is wanting you to not hold yourself back from opportunities. Or what I'm also kind of getting is like with the King of Pentacles here, you may have built up a lot of security in your life, or it's like that may just be the focus for you, or it has been the focus for you. And with the Three of Wands, maybe you just kind of wait for people to come to you. But I feel like what Spirit's saying is they want to like kind of like loosen you up. Like I'm almost getting like someone like getting a massage or something and like loosening up like tight muscles and like making it so you can take action. It's like there's a feeling of like maybe always not taking action that your intuition's telling you to, or you may feel connected to someone or something and it's like you aren't taking action towards it because your mind gets in the way, or your fears. And so you may end up just being more in this like receptive mode where you're just kind of waiting for things to come to you. But I feel like what Spirit's saying is you may still be missing out on opportunities that require you to take action, because not taking action is an action. And so there could be certain situations that, you know, you're not completely reaping the benefits of. Get some of these. Yeah, look at this. Milk and honey and serendipity. It's like Spirit is wanting to give you more happiness or like abundance, or wants you to experience more. But there's a feeling of maybe you having a hard time trusting with the serendipity here, your intuition. It's like I feel like there's certain people, or like maybe there's a path that you're wanting to take that you feel really called to, like your heart is really calling you to it, and your soul, honestly. But it's like you're having a hard time with synchronicity here, trusting the signs. Like, and I feel like what Spirit's saying is like you are getting signs from the universe, but sometimes your mind kind of gets in the way of that, is what I would say. And so then you may like sit in the same place for a long time. I don't know exactly. Like, also with why, I'm seeing why and imagine coming through. Look at them literally coming up like that. I feel like what Spirit wants to kind of like call you out on, but not in a mean way, in a way that's like meant to help you, is like you may be telling yourself that, oh, like I can't put myself out there because of XYZ, or like I'm taking care of like my finances, or I'm taking care of this, that, the other. And so I can't. But then it's like the truth of that is that you're actually maybe afraid to be vulnerable. You know what I mean? So it's like you may have like these reasons for doing things that you're kind of not being super honest with yourself about. Does that make sense? But not in like a bad way. It's more like you may just be holding yourself back without realizing it, and then kind of like having excuses for it. Yeah. All right. What else? We have time for a nap here. Co-create. Yeah. Okay. So I just feel, again, like with time for a nap coming out. Yeah. Come to the edge. I'm not even surprised to see this at the back of the deck. I'm going to read you that one because it's really good for this current situation that I'm getting. Oh, and poised. Yeah. There's something about this. I'm going to read that too. But what I want to say is I do think you've legitimately had to go through a time period where maybe more rest and alone time and time with yourself was actually needed, but it wasn't supposed to isolate, or it's not like it wasn't supposed to, everything's going according to plan, but Spirit's saying that don't go so much into hermit mode, or don't go into this mode where you feel like you need to protect yourself to a point where you're not really open to the signs and the synchronicities that Spirit's giving you. And it's like you're a powerful person and a powerful creator, and there's just this feeling of maybe being isolated or relying on yourself more than Spirit. Even it's almost like you don't want to rely on anyone else, or you don't want to open up in that way, because it's like you've learned to kind of protect yourself and meet your own needs, which is good in a way. But with co-create in reverse, it's almost like this is extending not only to other people, but like to Spirit. It's like Spirit's wanting to work with you. Spirit's wanting to help you manifest like what you want and bring in your desires. But there's almost a feeling of you also turning your back on Spirit in a way, if that makes sense, or it's like, but within regards to creation. And so with Come to the Edge, this is the card I was seeing. This is a card that I think would like overall represent like the energy I've been getting. So I'm going to read a little bit of it. 36. Let me just find it. It says courage, taking a leap of faith, overcoming fear, and accepting risk. Okay, let me see. Okay, so I'm going to read you both because they're really good. So you got it in reverse, but I'm going to read the upright version because I feel like this is the energy and advice for you to align with. I feel like if you could take anything from this reading, I would say listen to these words because I feel like this is the energy Spirit's calling you to align with. It says, facing the unknown is the only choice you really have right now if you want to progress. It's okay to be afraid. Now is the time to take a risk that is not calculated, to feel the exhilaration as you ready yourself for a leap of faith. Spirit is present, so let go of fear. You are called to express your true self. And yeah, and I was getting this Mercury energy. Express from your heart space. Let yourself express, let yourself interact with the world. It says, listen to your heart and soul, not your head, 100%, right? Come, and with the Two of Swords there, it's like, that's what we've been picking up on. It says, come to the edge and discover that you can fly. And like, that's what's so beautiful is like, there's this feeling of like, you don't even know like what you're capable of because you're holding yourself back. And there's just a feeling that you have these miracles and these blessings, like wanting to connect with you. But there's an energy of not jumping, right? Listening to your head instead, but then it's blocking these blessings. So it says, you must step into it says, come to the edge, discover you can fly. You must step into the unfamiliar so that you may find your miracles, right? And so there's just this feeling of miracles, Spirit wanting to connect you with more soulful experiences. Like, the feeling of just connecting with a soulmate or connecting with someone. It's just like, wow, this makes me feel so like loved and so a part of the universe. It's like Spirit wants to give you more like kumbaya energy. But here's a protection message. And so I feel like this is kind of talking about that Two of Swords energy. And so I feel like sometimes you guys may get in your head a lot, and it may kind of cause you to hold yourself back, right? And you may be just kind of like, this is what I was kind of saying, is maybe sometimes your fear-based mind is being mistaken for your intuition. So this is the protection message of this Come to the Edge card. It says, fear is leading you into places you don't need to go. Most of what you fear at the moment is an illusion stemming from an old belief that isn't even true, right? And so there could have been this energy where in the past people betrayed you, or in the past people hurt your self-esteem or rejected you or made you feel less than, right? And so it's kind of like holding on to that mentality that it's always going to be like that. It says, now is a time for courage. You will not be lost at sea. You will not watch everyone else get what you want while you're left alone and unloved. Oh, the drama of it all. And I love this. It says, false evidence appearing real, which is like fear, the acronym, is hovering over you. The more you dwell on fear, the more it will become real. Ask yourself, who in me is afraid? Love that part of you. Ask, is this true and real right now? The answer most of the time is likely no. Give yourself a hug. It's okay to be scared. Courage must be summoned. In spite of your fear, even when you're not feeling confident, Spirit will always catch you. And so there is this need to, Spirit's like trying to give you signs that you're protected, or that they are working with you. And I don't know if you're as receptive, I don't know, but there's just this feeling of Spirit trying to give you signs like green lights. And it's almost like you're getting green lights from Spirit, but then your mind is first going into seeing it as a yellow light. And then it's like, the more you contemplate on this yellow light, you're like, you know what, it actually looks a little bit red. So I'm going to stop. It's like that feeling here. And so also with this Poise card, what I'm getting from this Poise card is like, how I was saying, like, there's a feeling with this like body as a house card coming out. This really relates to this Poise energy, because what I'm getting is it's like you're graduating from a time period where maybe you didn't feel like you're at your best self, or maybe you had to heal some self-esteem wounds, or you had to heal, you had to really just kind of step back and focus on your vessel and recover from something, is what I'm feeling. And so maybe for a time period you didn't feel like you're at your best self, or it's like, here's the way I could put it, is like, when you've been, okay, let's say that someone invites you on a vacation next week, and it's like you're going to be at the beach, and this is kind of an example more on the body, but it can be something to do with confidence, right? And so there's a feeling of like the difference of how you'd feel if, let's say, you've been going through a really hard like mental health time period, and you haven't been working out, like you've been eating bad foods, and it's like been really a hard time for you. And so what you kind of really need is to be in this rest time period. And so you're not going to feel confident, like you want to take risks, or you're not going to feel confident in like meeting people in that state. You're not going to feel confident going to the beach and being in a bathing suit. And like, I mean, I'm not even saying like you need to be fit to be in a bathing suit. It's more like, I hope you guys aren't taking that way. It's more like things you do that are healthy for you that make you feel good about yourself, right? And so it's like maybe in a time, maybe you've been closed off to like meeting new people, or like romance and things like that, because it's almost like you haven't felt like your best self. And I feel like what Spirit's saying is like you are becoming that. And so there's almost a need to like process that you are good enough. You deserve to feel confident, and you deserve to move forward like with a confident manner. Yeah, so totally. It says being ready for bringing something into light, being at your best confidence. So it's like when we're at our best and so we feel confident, right? It says you can be assured you're ready for anything right now. You know what you need to do. You know what you need to. Your skills are sharp. You come to this place armed with wisdom and knowledge, and you sense a new phase of your life about to begin. People respond to your confidence and trust you. This is an auspicious time to begin new things. And so it came out in reverse though. Um, yeah, but I'm getting the upright, honestly. There's this feeling you're perpetually keeping yourself in this energy. Like, I'm going to read the protection message, but I think you're being called to step out of this, okay? Because there's a feeling that, yes, sometimes it's maybe very valid that you were in this protection message, but it's like spirit wants to flip this up, right? So it says you're not ready to move forward at this time, and that's okay. Be poised in the face of demands and deadlines. Pretending you know what you're doing works sometimes, but if you adopt a fake it till you make it attitude, it will land you in some muck now. This is not the time to wing it and deliver something half finished. It's okay to postpone things until you're really ready. It's better to disappoint others now than wish you had later. There's almost a feeling that you're disappointing yourself now so you don't get disappointed later. Or you may be holding yourself back and with other excuses, or you may be telling yourself, like, oh, well, like, it's not a good time to open up to love, or it's not a good time to like put myself out there. But secretly, it's like you are ready, and it's just kind of like this old fear that you're still carrying with you, that you need more time to be alone, or you need more time to like think or play it safe. But it's like spirit saying, like, no, like, we're ready. And with mystical sister here, there's a significant soulmate around you is what I'm getting, or like that you have feelings for, or maybe you haven't met them, but there's someone that's really gonna help you solidify this poise energy. Like, I feel like there's some companion who's really good, wants to be there for you, who's really isn't going to judge you. And so it's this energy of like with this mystical sister coming through, it's like that's the energy your soul's really wanting to call in, but a part of you maybe doubts that it's possible. And so now I'm kind of wanting to read you, just because the mystical sister card is so beautiful. Like, it's like what we all need in a friend or a lover, And I feel like this is the energy of what your soul is wanting, but then it's kind of like this battle against yourself, um, of whether or not you really believe with co-create that there are people in this energy. But spirit's here to say, like, yes, there are people in this energy. It says, just when you thought you could traverse the alchemical path by yourself, right? And there's so much of an emphasis on like maybe you feeling like you want to go at it alone. Soror Mystica appears. This card indicates a dear friend or sacred ally holds you in their heart at this very moment. We have heart here. With their support, you'll be able to do what you cannot do yourself. Between you exists an alchemical pact based on the ingredients of respect, honesty, and unconditional love. It's as if you've known each other for many lifetimes. You have shared an experience from which you are always bonded. This archetype may come in any gender, age, or form. One distinct characteristic of this is that they practice the art of witnessing and listening. They have no need to judge, fix, or give advice. Presence is enough. When this card appears, tend to the flame of friendship, be a mystical sister to another. So there's a feeling here of spirit wanting you to know you're not meant to continue down this path, like feeling more lonely or isolated or different and alone. And it's like what your heart wants more than anything is to be received and to have someone listen to you and see you and like acknowledge you without judging you. But there's almost this fear of judgment that I think you're trying to overcome. Um, but it's like spirit's here to tell you, like, you're ready. Like, there's just this feeling of you're ready to open up, you're ready to move forward, you're ready to let go of fears that have been and old burdens of betrayal and like not trusting people. It's like there's just energy of like it's time to move forward from that, and it's time to trust yourself and trust in your self-worth, and also trust that your flaws don't need to. You can still be confident while having flaws, and that's almost going back to the beach thing. Is like what I'm getting is like, even if you perceive that you're not okay, going back to that, it's like going back to the analogy about the going on vacation. What I'm trying to say, it's a mindset, right? And so what I'm trying to say is that even the right person that asks you to go on vacation, that isn't going to judge you, and like, let's say you've been in a bad mental health time period and you haven't been working out or you haven't been eating healthy, whatever. What I'm telling you is, around the right person, you're not going to care what you look like, right? And they're not going to judge you for that. And so there's almost this energy of, how can you let yourself be seen when you're not feeling like you're at 100%? But that's even having said that, I feel like you already are in a good place. But even if you weren't, Spirit's saying that it's more a lesson on the people that are going to judge you and make you feel crappy, especially when you're going through a bad time, are the types of people that should not be in your life. It's not a signal that you're meant to be alone until you're good enough, or you're healed enough, or you're, less flawed enough. There's a feeling that maybe you need to be understand that just because you may have been and not at your best, it doesn't mean that everyone should be isolated, or people are only going to like you once you're in this King of Pentacles energy, or in this energy of like having everything going for you. And so maybe sometimes you feel like you're putting it off until you're more healed or more confident, but it's almost like Spirit wants to say it's an internal thing. And the more that you can love yourself and trust that someone else isn't going to judge you, it's almost like that will really help you, is what I would say. Yeah, this is beautiful. It says, shine bright like a candle. You will make it through this. And then belong to your own dream, create your own life. And then I'm also getting this, a moment's regret, nostalgia, idolizing your past. Yeah, and then manage to be glad. All of these I'm going to take all four, because they're all on point for you guys. So what I'm kind of getting here is like, with this shine bright like a candle, you'll make it through this. I am picking up like on a heavier energy, at least in the past like 2 years, where I just feel like you've almost felt like maybe your own light went out, or you've just been having a hard time like connecting with yourself or connecting with other people, and just feeling like you're in that energy where like you are carefree and just like in touch with yourself, like that energy of, when you're like laughing with a best friend. Like I want to say that's like one of the like best energies in this life, is like when you connect so well with someone else and their humor, and it's like you're just dying of laughter, and like that feeling of easy connection. I just feel like it's been a long time since you've been able to feel that. But I feel like there's also this energy here with a moment's regret and nostalgia, idolizing the past, fearing you made a mistake. I feel like there's a need to forgive yourself and forgive your past, and to be easier on yourself, and know that you're not meant to be perfect, or like just because maybe in the past you've made certain mistakes, or you maybe let people in your life that didn't help you, or things like that. Like there's almost a need to just forgive that. Yes, we've all made mistakes in the past, but it doesn't really matter, like it's not that it doesn't matter. It's that we're not meant to be chained to those mistakes. It's like we make mistakes so we can learn. And I just feel like there's a feeling of needing to forgive that, and kind of get out of this scarcity mindset, or this fear of that there's something wrong with you or something. Like I almost feel like you guys may deal with that, which I very much understand. I want to read the A Moment's Regret, just a little bit of it, just to see, because I feel like this is a good message. This message is really nice, because we all get in this. It says, let me find it. Let me find where I want to read. You are very far away from where you once were, but you still have no clear idea of exactly where your path will take you. You're filled with uncertainty. Instead of allowing dread to fill your mind, live life as if it's a great adventure, right? And so there is this dread feeling with this Two of Swords, or this feeling of like confusion, or playing it safe. And it's like your soul is calling you to adventure with the Knight of Swords here. It's like you want more adventure in your life, but it's like almost like you're afraid of making the same mistakes of the past, or something, things repeating. It says, understand that as you change, there will be many ups and some downs too. It is not in your best interest to judge yourself harshly. Instead, anchor yourself firmly in the present moment, and allow any regret and nostalgia for your comfortable past to wash over you. Let it flow on by. You are on a remarkable journey of change. It is one that will lead to wisdom, experience, and adventure. You have made a wonderful choice, so take heart in knowing that all change creates wave and disruption. Do not make more of your misgivings than they are. They are natural consequences of bravely stepping out of your comfort zone. And so, yeah, there's just this feeling of you maybe have gone through a lot of change in the past like 2 or 3 years. And it's like you're trying to get back to yourself. And it's like maybe I feel like there's a need to reflect on all of the good things that you've done, or everything you've overcome, and how in many ways you have learned so much through your experiences with your relationships and things like that. And there's almost this feeling of, with this belong to your own dream, create your own life, Spirit's almost like not wanting you to become passive, or being in this energy of just protecting yourself, or waiting for the next challenge. It's almost like Spirit's like, get out there and seize, carpe diem, like seize the day. There's a feeling of that. And it says, manage to be glad, create your own happiness regardless of conditions. And so for me, it's like this card talks about how, despite and this kind of relates again to like the going on vacation. It's like, even if you feel like the conditions aren't right, like it's still an internal decision to be happy. And I used to have this on my screensaver on my phone. It was like, choose happiness, because I had a realization very intensely, like, about how happiness isn't this like point where, you know, eventually it'll come to us. It's like every day we have to decide that we are gonna choose happiness, um meaning that you have to kind of manifest it, right? And it's like the conditions will always be changing. There's always going to be ups and downs. There's always going to be regrets of the past, but there's more happiness available to you at this moment that I think you're maybe not letting yourself feel because of maybe past regrets or fears of, if you let yourself be happy, what if your guard goes down? You know, feelings like that is what I'm kind of picking up on. What else, Spirit? What other guidance do we have for pile number 3? We have abundance, and we also have air. Okay, so when drowning in lack, when the waters of creativity and prosperity seem to have receded, when your well of inspiration feels bone dry, soak up this card. So yeah, there's a feeling here of Spirit really asking for you to try to keep your mind focused on, it's almost like your mind ends up creating your reality. And so I feel like there's a feeling here of maybe you guys overthinking or getting in your head and maybe dealing with intrusive thoughts, maybe dealing with just very fearful thoughts. And I feel like there's this feeling of soothing your mind through not kind of finding what could go wrong, but almost attuning more with this abundance mindset where it's like, what could go right? Or kind of being in this energy of like, you know what, I deserve this. And like, for example, if you have like fears of like opening up your heart and stuff like that, or like connecting and like taking chances, exploring, taking risks in life, it's like there's a feeling of letting, like, and with all this water here, it's like moving with your emotions, moving with your intuition, and kind of letting your mind be in the backseat. Like, I just feel like there's a feeling of you being ready to manifest more abundance. Like, I feel like you guys are much more abundant than you give yourselves credit for. And so it's almost like I feel like you'll have more than enough, and maybe you aren't sure that it will always keep coming or something like that. There's just a feeling of Spirit really wanting to like ask you to dive into abundance mentality and um, give yourself like whatever you're afraid of. I think this is a good exercise. It's like, for me at least, it's like when I'm in this kind of mentality of feeling closed off to people or closed off, even though like I want something, like let's say I want a new really good friend, which is something I always want, but not always, but I'm just saying that is a good goal, I guess. And I feel like a part of me sometimes will be like, well, what if it turns out like this friendship from the past or something? And so what I've like will do is I'll write a list, is like, here's what I want in a friend. Okay. Like I want, and then kind of qualm all of your fears. So it's like, let's say that in the past, like maybe you had friends that would not really root for your success, or secretly would kind of be jealous or something like that. And it's like, that's kind of maybe in my mind a reason why I wouldn't want different friends or something. And I'm like, well, I don't want that to happen again. Then write on your book, I want friends who root for my highest good. I want friends who celebrate my celebrations, you know? And kind of by doing like writing the opposite of whatever your fear is in regards to your past, it can kind of help you have this rubric to move around life. And it's also a good manifestation tool. It's basically scripting, like writing what you want. I think it will help you to feel confident that it kind of like, it's almost like giving it to yourself. It's like when you get in this energy of what you really want and you write it down, it's like this feeling of manifestation, because it's like you're giving it to yourself. And it's like really nice to imagine that happening. And then also it gives you this rubric where it's like, if you feel like, you know, you'll know what you're looking for when you go out into the world, you know, and if it doesn't align with that, then you'll know that and you can shift away. But it's better than not having any rubric for what you're wanting. Does that make sense? So I would definitely recommend that. But yeah, let's get some final guidance cards and then we'll go into the extended reading. Yeah, sometimes life stings. I'm going to take that one because yeah, there's a feeling here that you may have gone through something that just like feels like it was needlessly painful or just may have really shaken you. But I feel like what Spirit's saying is to not let that color your entire life. Or there's this message here of Spirit wanting you to take the lessons, but like leave the pain in the past, or forgive the pain, forgive the people. Yes, it says now is a lucky time. Let Spirit be your guide, 100%. And then there's always enough at the back of the deck. Yes. Okay. So what Spirit I feel like is saying overall is like, I'm totally getting now is a lucky time. And so I feel like Spirit's like, go, like you can do it, like get out there, like you are good enough, like people are going to recognize your value if you take a risk. I'm also getting like Harry Potter when he takes the elixir of what is it called? Oh, I can't remember the name of it, but it's like the confidence elixir. That's you. And it's almost like, oh my God, that I would say the remedy for this pile is to the placebo of thinking. You remember when he says he gives it to Ron and then Ron has the best Quidditch game of his life, but it's like placebo effect. That's at play here, is what I want to tell you. Is like there's a feeling of doubting yourself or doubting what's going to happen, and then it being a self-fulfilling prophecy. But it's almost like if you went into situations like with the optimistic mindset and didn't let your mind get in the way in a way, it's like it would change your outcome. And Spirit just wants you to be more in flow with that abundance mentality of like, I am going to do well. It is going to go well. I will not be rejected. There are people who are going to love me. Like being kind of like more self affirmations. I also think writing down affirmations could be helpful. But then with Let Spirit be your guide, again, there's just with co-create and Let Spirit be your guide, there is a feeling of Spirit wanting to, there's a wish for you to trust a little bit more in the synchronicities and the signs that you get. And Spirit's like wanting to say, if you have an inkling that sometimes you are getting synchronicities or you're being pushed in direction, yes, that is us, and we want you to listen to us. And so there's a little bit of frustration, not frustration, but like a joke almost, like just being like, yes, pile number 3, we are trying to talk to you, and we love you, and like we're guiding you, you know, like, and it's unconditional love. There's no like Spirit guides can't actually be like mad at you. It's more like a joke, you know what I mean, of like, wow, imagine if pile 3 listened. But there's kind of a feeling of that, and they have nothing but love for you, and they're just rooting for you. But there is a feeling of them just wanting you to feel the abundance of a really strong soul connection, or I don't know, following your heart more and not being so hard on yourself, or not thinking that there's something you have to change about yourself in order to be better. You know, it's like you already are good, you know, you are already enough, basically. um yeah, so let's see what Spirit wants to go into for the extended reading. I almost want to look at your love life or like love advice for you guys. Could be interesting. What would be useful for pile number 3 to go into for the extended reading? We have King of Swords, Queen of Pentacles, the Two of Swords, the Wheel of Fortune, the Three of Wands. Okay. I've been picking it up this whole time that there is some sort of love interest that you guys have, but you guys may be overthinking it right now with the King of Swords. Yeah, with the Two of Swords, it's like there's something you're uncertain about. And with the Wheel of Fortune, there's a feeling here. And then the Three of Wands, I feel like there's some sort of relationship where you are taking a very backseat approach to it, where it's almost like you're just letting the universe figure it out, because you feel like you don't know which path to pick. Let's get you some guidance on what to do about your love life. I just feel like there's something that you need to hear about that, or maybe help give you some more clarity on what would happen. I almost want to get like advice on your love life. What would happen if you expressed your feelings more openly? Like I almost feel like that's what is needed, because I feel like there's these secret feelings that you have or something. But yeah, let's say overall advice for you guys on your love life. What does Spirit really want you to know about love right now? Your any like current situations to do with love, and like what's the best action to take within your love life? So that's what the extended reading will be on. So that will be the end for the YouTube reading. Thank you so much for being here. If this did resonate and you found it helpful, please do hit the like button. It really supports my channel. Leave a comment. I love to see what you guys have to say. Anything else? Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next pick a card reading. And I hope to connect with your energy again sometime soon.